Yeah, so a funnel chart is something which is basically a drill down kind of a chart, a drill down chart, which basically tells you, many things. It can tell you many things. So you will, you will see that whenever we are discussing a hierarchy, whenever we are discussing ascending to descending, whenever we are discussing pathway for success, for conversion, whatever it is. People talk about the marketing strategy. So basically, there is something called a sales funnel. So in a sales funnel, what happens? It starts from awareness, then it goes to consideration, and then so on and so forth to till the purchase happens. Now, now this stages basically determines a path whereby a person goes through this entire funnel, and then whenever you end, the bottom part of the funnel, that is called a neck. So basically, the topmost is the head, and the bottommost is called a neck. So in case of a journey, or in case of a conversion where a person is exposed to it, and then they do an awareness consideration, so on and so forth, and they arrive at this this purchase. So this entire thing, whenever they pass through the funnel, happens is the consideration and stuff. So yeah, so that's how that's how the entire concept is. And we will also see so basically the funnel chart shows the different stages, different sectors, different segments. So it is used to represent that. So let's see, and we, in this example, we will also see how to create a funnel chart, the basic funnel chart, and then how to create an advanced funnel chart. Okay, so what we will do is, let me connect to the data set. Yeah. So let's create, the first is the basic funnel chart that we need to create. So let's start off with it. So let me take sales, and let me take segment. It is coming like this. So there are two types of bar charts, right? So the normal bar chart, and then there is something called a stacked bar chart. So if I do a stacked bar, what happens is it comes like this. Now our motto is to create the funnel. So funnel, we know, right, how it looks like. So over here, typically what we need to do is, typically we will need to create the shape of the funnel, and that basically depends on the size of the bars. So let me now put sales into size, and you see what happens. See now over here as well, you can see this. Sum of sales, you see this representation basically tells you how the funnel is, right? So segmentized way, what is the funnel thing going in, what is the funnel in the ascending and descending order, it's showing you like this. Okay. Okay, now over here the representation, let's see, this is the various stages of the funnel that it is showing. Now that we have somewhat, like, mm, not exactly a funnel, but kind of a funnel. So what we can do is, we can just go to this part where where you see this is written as standard. So from there, if you do an entire view, what happens is this enlarges and takes the shape of the funnel. So now this is basically showing the funnel, showing the sales, and yeah. So and like this. So if you want to have labels, over here. What you can do is you can go to segment and put it into labels, and you have the various segments. And if you want the how much sale, then you can also put sales into over here, and you can get that. So one more thing, let me show you. That is, you can very well change your numbers. I think I've not discussed this before, but then it's a very small thing, but then it's a very effective thing. So if you have like, sales, so sales how it happens in dollars, right? So you can very well go format, and there is two options. How do you want to represent your axis, and how do you want to represent your pane, right? So you can go over to the pane in the numbers. You can like choose custom. If you choose custom, then it will give you like if you want decimal places. Say I don't want. If you want, you can display units. So you will see that K or thousands is something which is not much used with the US clients. Uh, so so they prefer millions. So if it is 7 million, let's put two decimal places and then change this prefix from rupee to dollars, and then it changes to this, right? Likewise, if you want your axis also to be modified, you can put it as custom, and then let it be here, display units in millions, and change it from this to dollars, and you can do this, right? So you can very well make your customized thing, and you can see how this works. Now this is a basic funnel chart that basically is showing the um, you know the uh, the stages at which the representation is. It is not kind of a storytelling, but it is a way of showing the thing that how in a descending order the funnels are based on the sales per segment. Okay, so also you can do something. You can like if you this is showing the individual values, right? Say suppose you don't need the individual values and you needed the numbers in percentages. So you can go over here. You can go to quick table calculations, and you can do percentage of. Oh, okay. I have done over here. That's why it's not showing. But yeah, so if I change it, if I remove these, and if I do that, oh, if I do that, it will be like of sales, quick table calculation. Okay, I need to put sales in some. Oh, okay, sales is now customized. That's why it's not showing up. Let me remove all these things of formatting. So if I do an automatic, now if I try to do it, I guess it will happen. No, it didn't, because just automatic is. Hmm. Okay, now I had made those changes. That's why typically it was not showing. But then that's not something that we are concerned about. So if I do a percentage of total, what happens is the totals percentages come up, and I know that consumer accounts for 51.48% of sales among all these segments what we have. Okay, so that's a basic funnel chart that we have. There is one more option of an advanced funnel chart. Okay. Okay, so this is clear, right? The basic funnel chart.
Yeah.
Perfect. So now we go to an advanced funnel chart, and let's see how an advanced funnel chart works. So an advanced funnel chart is also typically easy to create, just that we have a few more components uh, to create it. So how does it look like? Let's see. Now say suppose I again want sales with respect to ship mode. Okay, now what we see is again these bar graphs coming up. So let me just change the axis and make it descending. Okay, now what we have? Now we have a horizontal column chart. We do it descending order. Now, excuse me. So what I'll do is I'll go to marks. From automatic, what I'll do is you will see something called a Gantt bar, right? That is called a Gantt chart. So I'll just convert it to a Gantt bar. Okay. Oh no, sorry, no, not a Gantt bar, but what I'll do is I'll convert it to a area chart rather. Yeah. So I have this area chart now. Now you see what happens. A crooked line kind of a thing comes up. So what you need to do, you need to increase the size of it. How will you do that? You have to go to standard and you have to click on entire view. If you click on entire view, what you will see is the chart comes up by means of this ship mode and sales, and we see that a funnel type thing has been created, but it is half, right? Why is it half? Because so now what we see is a half funnel. Okay, that is comprising of ship mode and sales. So now if you just look at the thing carefully, you will see that this half chart consists of the positive values only, correct? So see, all the positive things comes to the right. So in order to complete this funnel, what we need to do is we need to create a negative part as well. Now, how will it affect your visualization? By nothing, because we are only concerned about this and we are concerned about the visual. That's why we are creating this negative part and to create an advanced funnel, and we will see how does it affect or how does it done, how if it at all does. So what we need to do is, now this is a positive sales, we need to look at a negative sales now. Now let's see how it works. So over here sales, we need to go to create calculated field, and from a calculated field we will now we will just name it as negative sales. And what we will do is, beside sales I'll just put a minus. Okay, and apply and okay. So I see that negative sales measure is created. Now what we will do, we will take this and place it before the sum of sales. And if you see, then we have a funnel created, correct? Which has an axis like this and which has a y-axis like this. Likewise, we have this funnel created, correct? Now, now let's do something. Now let's bring in some labels to it. Okay. So let me just drag in ship mode to labels. And what I see is this visual coming up whereby we have the labels of ship mode in both the things. Now say suppose I only want this part of the graph, I only want the labels, and here I want the numbers, because this is basically the numbers and this is just created to create the visual. Okay, so if we want to do that, what we have to do is, first we'll have to drag sales as well over here. Now you see that we have the same thing. Now I want only the ship modes over here and I want the same sales numbers over here. So what I'll do is I'll go over here in negative, I'll remove sales, and I only have these ship modes. And in this sales, what I'll do is I'll go and remove ship mode and I'll only have sales over here. Okay. And if you also want to segregate color wise, maybe you can go and change its color to say yellow, and you see that you see that the funnel basically gives you the topmost part basically shows you the highest thing, the second, the first, and the last. Last set of things comes at the bottom of the funnel. And if you want to change this color as well, you can go to color and you can make it red or something. And there you have your funnel. Okay. So, so that's basically it. And in case you want, like, your data to show up percentage of sales in this point as well, so what you can do is you can go to you can go to sales, right click, quick table calculations, and then percentage of total. And what you will see is that's an advanced funnel chart for you, which basically is showing you the percentages. But very effective visual. You can use it in many ways. You can use this visual in your dashboards. And this is much liked by account managers and people I've seen. One of the custom charts which looks good and which, like, looks cool maybe in the dashboard as well. So that's basically the funnel chart. And we have seen two types of funnel charts. One is the basic one and one is the advanced funnel chart. Now we will look at a chart which is called a waterfall chart. So what is a waterfall chart? A waterfall chart has a starting point and an ending point, and everything in between basically shows the progression or proportion from one place to another. Now, if I want to see how my sales progression is from one place to another, I can have a waterfall chart created, which basically shows me from where did my sales jump to where, right? As a waterfall is, like, it has a high point and it has a low point. And we want to see that from where did my sales go to where, and how is the progression. Not only sales, I can do it for profit as well, right? Now let's see how a waterfall chart can be created. So what I'll do is I'll pull my subcategory into columns, and I'll pull my sales into rows, and I have this. And what I do is I'll do a descending order, and I see that my sales has been plot on subcategory bar, and I have a descending order thing, a descending order chart over here, right? So now to create a waterfall, let's go to automatic, and now we have to choose the Gantt bar. Okay, once I choose the Gantt bar, what happens is, you see what had happened. The bar, basically all the things still remains the same. The sticks are gone, only the heads remain like this, correct? So so what do we need to now play around with? We need to play around with sales. So we have to go and put sales into size. And if I do that, you see what happens is we have this waterfall over here, right? And let me put, say, sales into color. And if I have this color now, and if I have the text activated, what I see is how did the sales progression work for me. How did the sales progression work for me? If I see in this view, this is much more clear. See what happened is, the sales basically moved like this, and I can see the progression. Now consider there is a totals ka bar over here and there and over here before this. So maybe your sales previously was 1 lakh, and now in this point your sales is, say, 5 lakhs. So what happens is these bars in between will show your journey from 1 lakhs to 5 lakhs, and whatever has happened in between as a waterfall based on these subcategories. That's how a waterfall chart is created. Basic waterfall chart. Why will I call it basic? Like, this is the waterfall chart, and that's how we create the waterfall chart. Now look, now what we can do is we can also do something. We can remove the sales take subcategory and take profit, and we can also make this chart. So ascending to descending, let's do this. So that's your profit. Now what will you do is you'll go to this, you'll create a Gantt, and from here you'll do an entire view. Oh, okay. And what you'll do is you'll put your profit into size and profit into colors. So see what happens. And let me put the text over here. See what happens. It basically shows you, like, there was a minus and then it started picking up, picking up, picking up. And this entire gradient over here shows that your total range ranges from minus 64,083 till 258,568. And this journey is basically portrayed through a waterfall chart. So yeah, so feel free to use your data, like, to full up to the fullest in order to show what's and how the waterfall chart can be effective for your dashboards. Okay, so I guess we are good. Coming to the last chart that we will work on is the pie chart. And it's a fairly simple thing, so I'll not spend much time in understanding pie chart. So let's click on market, let's click on sales. And if I go to pie chart, what it tells is a pie chart needs one or more dimensions and one or two measures. Okay, so if I click on pie chart, you'll see that a small pie chart has been created already, and based on the markets over here. So that's basically the markets that you see, and then that's your pie chart. Now it's a very small pie chart that you see, right? So again, go to standard and go to entire view. Once you do an entire view, what happens? This chart becomes much more zoomed, and it comes in the middle, and it basically aligns to what we were asking for. Now we need some labels in here. So what we will do is, let me take market, put it into labels, and I see that I have all the markets over here, and also sales, and I put it to label. So what happens? I have the labels as well. Okay, you can do these things as well. You can do a percentage of total, and you can see how much percentage of total this accounts for, and you know that US has 18.17% of share. Okay, so that's how you create a pie chart. It's a very simple thing. So I'm not, going with anything now. The rest depends on you, how you want to customize, how you want to do the custom things, how you want to explore. That you can do for yourself. Oh, sorry, this is not the last chart. The last chart is maps. We will do maps. So that's basically pie chart for you guys. And so if we don't have any question, we don't have any questions, right? So we will move on to maps and see what happens. So a map chart is basically a geographical chart, as you know, and it basically shows me how to manipulate with data when you have at the longitudinal and latitudinal level, along with some measures that you have. So, uh, so that's how, you know we need to create the map chart, and it will tell you that what longitude and what latitude and what state is performing in accordance to whatever metric you want to see it for. So let's see how it works. So I'll click on. Okay, first let's see what it is telling. It is telling that it needs one geo dimension. If you don't have any regular dimension, that's fine. And it doesn't require a measure as well. So that's basically the requirement of this chart. Now what we will do, we will go to profits, and it needs a geographical thing, right? So we will choose that as state. Once you choose it, you see that the maps have activated. And if you click on over here, we have this map, but the problem over here is it is showing me India's map. We need to change the location from over here and make it as United States. Okay, yeah. So see, first what happens is the map looks like this because I had chosen that. That's why it's showing me. But first the maps look like this because it is the points which basically gets denoted as part of your longitude and latitude. This is how the map propagates. Now if we want to add color to it, we can very well do it, and we see that the that this looks like this when we put sum of profit into the colors, right? So that's how you create the map chart. That entire continent, how is it working, and how is the profit across the various things, and what is it based on. You can see from what range to what range the sum of profits are, and over here as well, based on the color, you know that this country is doing this. So now if we want some labels, what we will do is we'll take state and put it into labels, and we have all the names over here. And what we'll do is we'll take profit and put into this, and we know that profit what profit has happened to each country over here. Okay, so I guess that's clear. Likewise, you can show it up by states. Like you can do a double click on this, you can just drag in state to color. Oh, I don't remember this. You can choose this. So what happens is your states are colored in a certain manner by maintaining the uniformity of sales, because the deep bluish part is this much, and it is uniformly distributing things based on the sales coloring. Okay, so now we need to now a very simple thing is a symbol map. A symbol map is nothing but it is actually nothing. So if you do this, so what happens is this is called a symbol map, which is used in showing temperature custom maps or weather forecast custom maps, and you can create these kind of things for yourself. That's basically maps chart for you, and that brings us to the end of the charts that we have in Tableau, and I'm sure I've covered most of them. Still, if you have something you can explore now within yourselves, and if you have any questions, you can drop a mail, and we can start it off from there. So that's basically maps. That's basically charting. Now what we will learn now is some of the dashboard formatting techniques. Okay, so for that, before we do that, let's understand what and how we can do that. Okay, so whatever you are pulling in here and working, all those are sheets. You understand that, right? These are sheets. This is the icon of sheet. New worksheet you see, right? Now, beside that, what you see is a dashboard. And beside a dashboard is a story. Now, sheets comprise of all these things, all these charts that we are doing. A dashboard comprises of uh, a dashboard consists of number of sheets. See sheet one, it is already created, and a story consists of number of dashboards. So that's the three how it works. A sheet dashboard contains sheets. So the sheets contain the graphs, the dashboard contain the sheets, and stories contain dashboards. Okay. So now let's create three visuals and let's see how things work for us. Okay. So that's our sheet. Let me create some visuals so that now say suppose I want a chart, a area chart based on the segment and category, and let's see how it is created. So when we have segment and category based, so it will be in my columns I'll be taking a segment. Okay, in my columns I'll have segment, and let me pull the order date. And in rows, what I'll do is I'll take the sum of sales, and I see these bars coming up. Let me do the descending. So segment, we have taken the I've chosen order ID. Is it? No, I want order date. So we have segment, we have the order date, and we have the sum of sales. And let me put category into colors. Okay. So that's how it is coming. Let me choose it as an area chart. I see the area chart popping up. I can do an entire view, and I see that's how it is. That's how it is coming. And let me check if I want to do a running total. And if I do a running total, I see that per segment wise, the data comes like this. Okay. If I want some labels, I can go ahead and I can do this, and I can see how things are getting cumulated per year. You understand what is a running total, right? It's a cumulative sum. This and from there, this plus this, this plus this, this plus this, and that's how the cumulative thing looks like. Okay, so yeah, so that's basically it. Whereby I've created a chart which is basically the running total of running total of segment and category based area chart. So let me name this sheet as running total by segment. Okay. Now, yeah. So I have created this. Now let me create another visual. Okay. What we will do, we will create a visual which is basically sales by category. Pretty simple thing. I'll choose sales and put it in the columns. I'll choose in the rows, I'll choose subcategory like this. And let me put category into colors. So that's how it looks like. So what do we have? We have three categories, and we have for all these subcategories, it is created, and it basically shows that by subcategory, um, what is the sales, and all these things falls under which category using the category in colors. So that's how it works. So let me name this sheet as sales by category. Okay, and let me create a third visual now, whereby I'll choose state and sales, and I'll create a map. Okay, so now these things. Let me name it as state sales. So that's how I have created the three things: running total by segment, sales by category, and state sales. Now let's create a dashboard. Now what did we understand? That a dashboard is something that consists of the sheets, right? So let me click on new dashboard. Now that's how a dashboard looks like. A dashboard basically is like if you go into a dashboard, it has a layout which whereby you can choose its width and height, and that's how a dashboard looks like. It has some objects, it has options. Now let's look at, now there is two options called tiled and floating in a dashboard. Okay. Now let's look first in tiled. What is a tiled approach? So you see that I have my three sheets automatically in the dashboard, right? So let me pull one sheet over here, and I have the chart that I have in this sheet that comes over here. Now let me pull this sales by category. Now see, once I pull this, the sales by category is asking me an option. Do you want the chart to be over here as a horizontal thing, or if you want as a vertical thing, or you want the chart to be here as a horizontal thing? And it is giving me optional tiles for me to choose from them, or if you want in bottom, if you want in top. So it is giving me all the options that are available for me to place the chart. Let me put it like this, and I get a horizontal thing. Let me drag it like this, and you see I get a vertical thing, right? If I want it above, so I get it above, and if I want below, I get it below it, right? So that's a tiled approach of creating a dashboard, which basically aligns and assigns tiles whereby you have to place your charts and create the dashboard. Okay. Now let's look at what is floating. So if you choose floating, and now if I bring my state sales graph, you see what happens. See what happens. This basically is a floating graph which can be placed anywhere. Now, similarly, if I have this category, I move it and I choose floating and then I pull category. See how category comes in? It comes in as a float thing which can be placed anywhere on the pane. Correct? Anywhere on the pane, I can put a floating graph, and it will look like this. And if we have to remove, we need to remove it like this. We just hold it and drag it down, and it moves. Likewise, this as well. I want to keep it over here, and I want to keep it over here. Doesn't make a difference. Whereas because it is not a tiled approach, and floating means you can float it around anywhere you want. You can adjust its size, you can adjust its width, you can adjust the dimensions, you can do everything with it, and it will give you the flexibility to do that. Okay, that is a floating. However, in a tiled approach, if you do and if you pull, you are getting options of tiles, and you can work on that. Okay, you can also attach an image from here. So if you go to image, and if you drag an image, let me do. So this is also very interesting. So if you have an image and you want to drag an image somewhere over here, you can put it. It will ask you for link to image or insert image. You can choose from them, and you can click on the one that you want to. And if you hit an OK, what happens is this comes up. Now see one thing, that is how the flow, that is how the tiled approach looks like. That is how the tiled approach is, where there is a single tile for you to showcase the data, and a single tile is assigned for you, and on a specific dimension, or on a specific um, dimension box, and it basically automatically tells you how your data will be tiled. Now the same thing, if you want as a float, you can go to float, you can drag images, choose Tableau, apply OK, and see, now this is way more flexible. There is no tile or anything, you just need to customize however you want to, and it gets customized accordingly. See, right? We have this, and now I can put it anywhere, like as a title, or as a logo of my company. I can very well achieve this and do this. Okay, so that's basically the basic difference between uh, tiled and floating approach. Now let me clear it. Now let me drag this, and let me drag this over here. So now let's look at one more feature. Now we have these two things, right? Now, if you click on this, and if you click a right click, you can choose your filters from here. Now we know that both these options have category as a common feature among them. So what I can do is, over here, if I go to filters, and in category like this, what happens? I can see all the categories. And if I toggle from here, you see I've chosen the filter in this graph, right? Not in this. I've chosen the graph in this filter, and when I toggle, what's happening? The below graph is getting customized, right? So in this scenario, when we want both the graphs to reciprocate together, because there is a common element in them, what we need to do is we need to go to this drop down, and then you see there is something called apply to worksheets. And if you do select worksheet, selected worksheet, that does mean that these are the two selected worksheets, right? Because they have these blue arrows and we have dragged them. So, oh no. So if you go over here, and if you apply to worksheets, you will get selected worksheet basically to the left, all using data source, all using related sources. So I'll choose selected worksheets, and see, it tells me an option that sales by category is already under this filters control. Do you want running total by segment as well? So I say yes, and I hit an OK. So now what happens is, we choose office supplies. So what happens? Only office supplies category sales, and this comes up. We choose technology, it increases, or it basically chooses accordingly. And furniture. Okay, like this. So yeah, so that's what is happening over here. Now you notice one thing over here, that is, if I choose furniture, or if I remove technology, so you see what is happening is, this size of the graph and this size of the graph remains like this. Now say I choose technology over here. See, the chart is lessened, right? The chart is small, but this space below is still there, right? This unnecessary choosing of space is still happening, and this is something that we can auto adjust. We can let Tableau know that we have some more techniques which will basically customize this as well, and this will allow us to auto adjust. How? Now let's remove again everything, and now let's look into two objects over here called horizontal and vertical. If we choose these two options, what happens is we can let Tableau auto adjust things himself and do the work for us. Now let me pull this vertical stuff over here. You see that the change? There was the pane. It tells me drop sheets here. What I do is I first choose the vertical thing, right? Now I pull this. Now I pull this and filter category. Now see the beauty of having a vertical pane behind my graphs. What happens now? See, if I choose furniture, what happens is it is auto adjusting. Do you see this? If it is small, then it becomes small, and it is auto adjusting the space. It is auto adjusting the space, and there is no unnecessary space that is left, right? So if it is less data, what happens is only that much, but then you know the other things gets auto adjusted. Now think if you have 20 graphs in your sheet and you have this feature not enabled, then you need to scroll up and down and do things. But if you have the vertical thing in the background, what happens is it basically auto aligns, and whatever space was there in that, it fits itself by doing the auto adjusting feature. Okay, so that's one more feature that Tableau allows us with. Oh, I removed it. Okay, let me have this one. Now the next thing is, now we know that we have seen how to now text is, you will add text over here. You can add text. Those, forget it. Now we know horizontal is, horizontal now basically the opposite of vertical. You can pull horizontal as well, and it will allow you to create horizontal graphs in the given area. Now, web page, if you want to have a web page, you can enter the URL and you can have the web page in your system. Uh, Navigation buttons, again, you can create, you can edit the button and you can tell where it has to navigate to, and it will take you. If it is, this is very effective, whereby you have multiple dashboard stuffs, and it will multiple sheets in your dashboard, and it will basically, from like where you want to navigate to, it basically jumps from one place to another. This you can explore yourself. Now this is your dashboard. If you click on this checkbox, show dashboard title, what happens is the dashboard title comes up, and over here you can just go and you can write whatever dashboard name you want to give. Say suppose Tableau training demo, apply and okay, and you have your this thing, and you can always go and you can always format things. You can do all these changes, so that becomes your heading, and this is your chart heading. Now, let's say we want to modify the chart a bit. We want to modify the the heading, and I want like I want a dynamic kind of a heading over here. It shows me running total by segment right now. So now it is only giving me running total by segment. Whatever I choose or whatever I check and uncheck or whatever, the heading remains like this. Now you can change it. If you go over here, you will see that it is taking the heading of the chart to be the sheet name itself. So what you can do is you can remove everything and you can write running total by. If you do write this much only, what happens is this gets changed, and this only when you apply it shows as running total by. Now running total by, you need something to define, right? Now we have this category over here, so and it is showing by category. So what you can do is you can again further go over here, running total by, and you see there is something called an insert over here. You can go to insert, and from here you can choose category. Once you choose category, what happens is running total by, and now you choose category, you apply and OK. Now see, it tells me running total by all. If I choose furniture, now it tells me running total by furniture and office supplies and all. Now remove what? See, running total by furniture and technology. That's how the dynamic headers are created. All good, right? So yeah, so that is how dashboards work, and stories are basically, collection of dashboards, so that you can very well explore for yourself. Let me show you one more thing that I had thought of showing you earlier, but I forgot to include that in there. When we are talking of dynamic thing, it just struck me. So now say I have the my data like this, say subcategory and sales, right? That's my subcategory and sales and profit. Now, if you have a scenario like this where you have, by sales and profit, and you want to see how things are in a single selection. See, this is two different things, right? So how will we achieve it? Now you can create a dynamic thing, the dynamic showcasing of this kind of a showcasing by using a parameter and a calculated dimension. So what will you do is you need to whenever you need to show, like, in a single filter I will have profit and sales and my graph will toggle around. So what you can do is from here in the drop down you can create a parameter. Okay, so parameter one, which has a data type of float current as a default. What you can do is you can go over here and you can change it to string. Okay, and choose a list. See, there is allowable values are all and list. So from here you will choose a list. So say I add sales and I add profit. Why am I creating a parameter? Because a parameter can hold multiple things as display values, and we need to trigger it by using a calculated field. Okay. So what I'm telling is I just inserted the value sales and profit over here. Now hit OK. So I see my parameter created. So if I do a show parameter, now see sales and profit comes like this. Okay. Now, in order to make this parameter functional as a dynamic functional thing, what we will do is we will create a calculated field. So now let me name my calculated field as profit and sales. Okay, let me remove this. Let me show you that we can create calculated field on a parameter as well. So it's not only these two, but in my parameter as well, if I click on right click and if I go to create calculated field, see, now it takes the parameter as the calculation and it creates a calculated field. Now let me name it as profit and sales. Okay. Now let me insert a function called a case function. So case function basically is used in places whereby you can use if and then you use case. When you use a case, you have to use a when and then function, when and then statement when you're using a case function. So now I choose case as parameter one because I have named my parameter as parameter one. Under the case statement, what I do is I write a when and then statement. So when profit, profit. By the way, Tableau is case sensitive, huh? Always remember that. And then profit, then sales, then sales, and end. Okay. See, the calculation is showing me as valid. So when profit, then show the profit. When it is sales, then it is sales. Apply and OK. Now what I'll do, I'll remove this individual profit and sales. And what I'll do is I'll bring in this calculation sum of profit and sales. Okay. See, it shows us profit and sales. Now, if you choose your parameter over here, see the parameter will help in toggling and you will have a dynamic filter which applies to your subcategory but dynamically changes your measures.